Yes, there we go. Welcome to another episode of the Jankity Ass Podcast. Too many episodes to count, but I can tell you for a fact that this one is number 45.
The age of the midlife crisis. This is the midlife crisis episode.
And I know that number because I clearly did quick algebra in my head and calculated it all like a normal genius would. No other indicators anywhere whatsoever to tell me what number episode this is.
Nada.
I'd have no
Zip.
idea.
Zero reference.
So, of course, real quick, if you're watching this, you're watching it on YouTube, so go ahead and go down to the corner here, like and subscribe to Multi-Murdy Media. You will get this playlist, the Jankity Ass Podcast. You will also get the Gutsy Ass Gamer, which is my video game and Twitch stream, and you'll get Poncho's Paint Booth, which is my hobbies, and mostly model painting and stuff. This week is going to be the last video for the Silent King, and then we'll finally be done with that thing.
Nice.
Which you've seen up here before. Now I got these guys that I'm going to be rolling over Bobby with tomorrow.
Scorpec Destroyers, baby.
Yeah. When that'll be on a video, I don't know yet. I just finished it and put it off to the side. 'Cause that's easier.
To the side.
And of course, as always, I'm here with Tom, who you can find here and
at TFG Radio. Although currently I look like I would be on a Simpsons character, specifically Ned Flanders. Rocking the glasses, mustache look. It's the first time I've ever really done it, so feeling diddly K right now at the moment.
Or maybe like another knockoff of The Office. Like that.
Wait, which Office character?
I don't know, Dwight maybe.
God, everyone fucking says I'm Dwight. I swear to God.
Like, I know that's Dwight, but something seems off.
Yeah, the fact that he's not. This fucking name, Reigns.
And that's not even the British fans either.
No. Oh, dude, the British Office, I've heard is... I've seen, like, maybe half an episode, but it's one of those things where it's, like, it's just supposed to be so awkward funny. It's, like, real hard to even, like, get into it, depending on who you are.
This is just, like, insanely British.
It's
probably...
Think like Curb Your Enthusiasm plus British comedy.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Insanely awkward, like, gut-wrenching humor that you just know is funny. But it's just like, oh, it's so real and it's so hard to watch. And also British, which means that they go to a bit of an nth degree. Because their censorship has been nowhere near as harsh as ours has been. So it's like, oof.
That actually reminds me of, did you ever see that, I don't know if you ever use, like, Amazon Video Service at all. But they had that one.
I watch Prime Video.
Yeah, okay. Did you ever see that TV show, that little TV show that they had, where it was like, fuck. What was it? It was starring, I just forgot everything. No, but it was like a British TV show about where it was like, the angel Gabriel and like, Devil from Hell. Yeah.
I can see the cover.
Yeah.
I can see the cover.
They stopped the apocalypse at the end.
Hang on. Give me a second. Give me 1 second.
I don't know why I can't remember the what's his face's name.
It was I'm surprised it's not in his top 10 because it should be.
Here, I'm looking right now too.
Oh my God, what is it called?
I know the main guy was Doctor Who for a while.
Yeah, it was David Tennant.
Yes, that's the name I was thinking of. David Tennant.
I can't see what the show is. Oh, Bad Omens. Or
yes,
Good
Omens. Something
Good
Omens.
I loved that show. My wife and I watched it like through and through. It was so great. Everything about it was fantastic.
And it was disgustingly British.
It was stupid British, but it wasn't like that bad. It wasn't like awful. It was really, really good.
Oh yeah.
and like Michael Sheen was amazing in it. Like, there's a lot of really great actors and actresses in it. It's like it is super British, but it was one of those things where it had a lot of American infusion. So like it had Michael McKean, it had Nick Offerman. Who else was in it that was super American? I think that's pretty much it. Everybody else was pretty much British, but like it was just a fantastic show. Absolutely highly recommend it. Good Omens. It's based off of a Terry Pratchett novel. For those of you who know who that is, Terry Pratchett is one of those.
It's on that side of the screen. They know who that is.
Yeah, exactly. Off screen. No, Terry Pratchett's one of those authors where it's like, I need to catch up on them. Like they're like hyper nerd, like Tolkien. If you like Tolkien, then wait till you hear about Pratchett kind of things, you know. So, but anyway, yeah, show's amazing. It's on Netflix. I doubt it'll get a second season of any kind. Mostly because I don't know if there was actually ever any kind of more material written for the book, but it's even if it's a one and done, it's fantastic. Absolutely worth it.
Yeah, it did sound like a one-off. It also didn't help that whenever I watch it, I was on edibles the whole time. I was just like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, generally makes things a little more confusing.
But I did know what was going on, though. But still.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Nice cover-up. Nice save. Good on you.
Speaking of saves, that sounded like the opening of a beer can.
It is. Nice segue. And this I am drinking is Lagunitas Supercluster, a citrus-hopped mega IPA of intergalactic proportions. This is a very, very potent IPA that drinks like a session.
Nice.
It actually has a good, almost fruity, aromatic flavor to it. It's got a good body. It's not super overbearing. It does have some bitterness if you're not a fan of IPAs. Not as worse as it could be, but super mainstream at this point because of how good they are. But like it's fantastic. And when you buy the box too, it gives you this kind of like 80s vibe. Like their whole box and everything is like VHS, like 80s space drama. It's really cool. Great flavor, high value for the taste. $10 a 6-pack. Such a good buy.
Oh, that's not bad. I'd almost say more 70s, but yes. For me, I got a special one this time, at least for me, and I was able to get a couple of 4-packs of this. This one is the latest Deftones collaboration with Belching Beaver.
I didn't know Deftones was doing a collaboration. Seriously?
They had the first beer that they came out with them. Belching Beaver is pretty good too. I've had them here a long time ago, but no,
I can't say I'm familiar with them.
Their big one that I like is they have a peanut butter stout that's really good, and then they did an IPA with Deftones that was that Ghost Bride, if I remember right. But this one is a pale ale at 5.5. And I have not tried it yet, so this is going to be... I
mean, Deftones is all you need to hear about it, though. If it tastes as good as it sounds, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's like a nice, straightforward pale ale.
Nice.
With no real kick to it, either. No bad kick, I should say.
Well, and it's funny, too. Everybody in California especially loves their IPAs and their Imperial IPAs and double IPAs and everything, blah, 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 blah. But just finding a straight up pale ale, like that's actually a little harder than you think half the time. It feels like to me anyway. At least as exposed as I have been to beer recently, because I don't normally drink beer, but I got super back into it recently.
Quite pale.
That's my belt line. So.
Yeah, it does seem that people sort of just skip straight to IPA. Instead of pale ale, which I found out isn't even like what beer is naturally supposed to taste like, because apparently
it's like a. Go ahead.
It's a preservative.
Yeah.
Apparently,
basically, it was something that happened to beer because of them making it last longer on like history and everything, the more I'm like surprised at how, because at some point or another we lived on clipper ships or like seafaring ships, like that was a whole part of our culture, how much that has actually affected us like even beyond it.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just like the historical ramifications of any event, right? Like you don't have to talk about the super heavy ones, just booze is half of them. For example, the reason why something's called proof, right, like for liquor, is because back in the day, right, sailors used to be paid, at least in England, they used to be paid off of rum. So a portion of their daily rations was rum. So like everybody got their food, everybody got their butter, and then they get tea and rum. That's why there's that whole relevant, like, shanty thing where like soon made part of their daily allowance as a sailor. But you could do as the captain, if you wanted to be cheap, is you could buy less rum and water it down. And the thing is if you did that, it lowered the alcohol content. And if it lowers the alcohol content, it can't turn on fire if you light it on fire like gasoline does. So what they would do to make sure that the captain didn't water down their rum before or during the trip is they'd take a little bit on a spoon and put a match to it, and if it set on fire, it was good. There was alcohol in it. And if it didn't, then it was not enough booze.
Time to get a new captain.
That was time to get a new captain. And that was why they called it the proof. Because it was the proof that there was rum in here.
And then I'm guessing,
that then ended up somehow becoming the worldwide standard for the alcohol content of any like liquor, and it specifically applies to liquor. That's why you don't see it on beers. That's why on beers you see ABV, alcohol. What is it? Alcohol by volume.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. Well, that's all actually more like an actual number, whereas proofs are just made up numbers that I'm sure had something to do with white people.
You know what? As someone who's vaguely white, that's racist, but not really. No. Well, no. I think it's just literally that with liquor, it's actually just there's so much alcohol in it. It's measured in raw percentage. It's like of this giant 1 liter bottle, 45% of it is actually just pure alcohol. Versus beer, where it's like this is mostly just water, hops, and barley and everything, and this is liquid bread that happens to get you a little buzzed. Like that's all beer is.
It's funny that people use bread to soak up alcohol.
I mean, hey, it works.
Alcohol is made of bread, or at least this one is. Well,
there's your history lesson for the day. What else we got?
Yeah, right. Actually, I was gonna say that kind of reminds me of speaking of white people, interesting thing that I heard on another show somewhere about how, like, how in like British society, there's like a much more distinction of like, kind of lower society and high society. Like up
like
here,
class,
they all talk like, well, like people completely talk different, and they have like all these different routines, like having like 10 different forks on a table or whatever. And apparently, what they're saying is that it has a lot to do with the fact that, like, since you can't really differentiate between people by, like, race or whatever, so they have to make up, like, this other shit.
Oh, so you could tell if somebody is a certain race because that race would have been born into a certain class and they know how to do something.
Right. But since it's just all
that's like
white
meta
people,
racism.
Yeah. Well, it's more like made up racism, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, that's classism.
Classism, I mean, which is really, I mean, is an extension, right? We don't care who you are, but if you don't have money, we automatically assume you to be just worthless because either your family wasn't good enough to get you to become rich at this point, or because you're not smart enough to become new money at this point. And like that whole thing is just like, I mean, like we're like you still see elements of both like today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just in various degrees or what have you, right? like for example, like dress codes, right? Like in one way, dress codes are a sign of, showing the respect due to a certain kind of thing. If it's a weighty thing, you want to show up nice to something nice, right? But in other cases, it's to keep certain kinds of people away, regardless of how much money they have. Because if they're the kind of people who have if they're the kind of people who have the right kind of money, they're going to have the right kind of clothes because that's how they live their life. Versus like, hey, this Joe Schmo won $1,000 on the lottery table. He's going to go have an $800 steak dinner.
Do they even make $800 steak dinners? I feel like even that's pushing it.
I went to I literally have been to a steak dinner where the bill was $850, but it was because there were 5 of us, and we pre-gamed at the bar of the restaurant with a decent amount of cocktails, and it was something like a bunch of fish appetizers, like shrimp cocktails. It was like when I was living in DC, and a buddy of mine who'd gotten a massive bonus was like, "Hey, you and we were all good friends. We're going out." It was basically like that. So we suited up. It was the 5 of us, and the 2 of them were staying behind because they lived in DC and everything. The other 3 of us, we were going our separate ways. One of us was moving to Boston. Me and my buddy Nick, we were moving to Pasadena. He moved to Glendale, and so my other buddy, he just is like, hey, we're going to the Capitol Grill in DC. You can literally see the White House and the Capitol building from here. It was
how ironic.
I know, right? That was it back in that was back in 2013, 2014.
Ah, yes, before the troubles.
Before the dark times. Before people
these troubles anyway.
I know, right?
Plenty of other troubles.
Plenty of other troubles. I mean, even then, I had no illusions of how badly run our government was, or just how terrible everything was. It just was like, it's a cool building, whatever, it's right there. But yeah, no. So we went there. We had just a bunch of cocktails in the beginning. Got a bunch of jumbo shrimp, some crab cakes and stuff, and then we get taken to the table. Here's a bottle of wine. We just drank a whole freaking bottle of wine because of steak, and then we had a bunch of bourbon cocktails on top of that. This is one of the last couple years of my life where I could just handle anything that I drank or ate thrown at me.
Oh,
because I don't remember anything bad about that night. I just remember having a good time, which means I didn't have too much.
And then the dairy turned on you.
And the dairy turned on me. I think it might have even turned on me before, but I mean, when you're just doing surf and turf and booze, not a whole lot of dairy involved usually. Or I didn't notice, yeah.
You just thought that you had the AIDS, as one of my old coworkers would call it.
I got the AIDS, pa.
Yeah, alcohol-induced drizzle shits.
I've never heard that.
I hadn't either. I remember when he told me, I'm like, what the fuck? You have AIDS? It's like, yeah, man. Drizzle shit's like, oh, all right.
Sure. I mean, good luck telling that to a crowd.
Yeah, it depends on the crowd.
Yeah, fair enough.
What was I gonna say? Oh. I do have notes. More or less. Not gonna be exactly in any special order. Speaking of, I guess things you can get addicted to. I know this is an older thing, definitely, but you ever seen those nophones?
No.
So it's literally just like a black plastic brick that kind of looks like an iPhone.
Oh, so it's like a fake smartphone.
Yep. It's a little
and it's the idea of you hold it in your hand so you feel like you have a smartphone in it. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, I do remember that.
Like the OG fidget spinner. I don't know, because I saw it pop up again on my things to buy on Amazon.
I think that's Amazon's way of saying you gotta get off your damn phone.
But not really. But maybe you should. Yeah. We are helping.
But we know you're not, but here, buy this thing in the meantime while you think about it.
Yeah. Buy this first and then log off.
but then log back on. It's okay.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel that's more just for Fuck, I always felt like a lot of it's kind of weird because like for me, I've never really had too much of an addictive personality. So I guess I've been fortunate that way, but in a way, it kind of seems like especially when people get addicted to things that aren't really substances, that are more just kind of like things
stuff.
Yeah, like saying like, oh, I'm too addicted to social media or whatever, and I gotta like delete everything. Like that just seems fucking dorky to me.
I mean, I think it really, I mean, it can depend, right? Like, so for me, I'm the addictive personality, but like specifically when it comes to like the chemical stuff, like I could easily become a super alcoholic if I let myself. I was a smoker for years, and like you know what, you give me a pile of cocaine, I'd probably never turn back. But you know, like it's so in some ways, like with drugs, I've just never let myself become that, and in some drugs that are like more commercial vices, yeah, sure, whatever. But when it comes to like those conceptual ones, it really is about a state of mind, I think, right? It's like that's why, like, to you, right? Like, oh yeah, getting addicted to Instagram, like, it doesn't make sense.
What's wrong with you?
Like, but that's because like Instagram doesn't have. Yeah, exactly. What's wrong with you? Like, Instagram doesn't have anything for you to like. There's nothing like you don't find yourself going back to Instagram every day, do you?
Well, yeah.
Like you don't like. Well, like, but you don't like set a like you don't like look forward to your Instagram time.
Oh,
like, is that
no.
like something you do?
No.
Yeah, see, there you go. So it's like I mean, for me, for example, like I look forward to like my gamer time or something like that, where it's like, okay, I'm looking forward to this, and like that could easily become an addiction where I like let myself become fully fledged in it, and instead of balancing it with the rest of my life, I choose it instead of everything else, and it's because I like the way that thing makes me feel versus everything else, and so therefore I just ignore everything else. And I think that's part of it, right? It's just this idea of like it becomes this false reality of an escape, you know, where you just every waking moment that you don't have to deal with your own reality, you're immersed in this. That's why like people are like freaked out about AR and VR. Or like Ready Player One was all about like, yeah, there's people who just like, you know, they're just stuck in VR for the rest of their lives because they can't handle the real world. It's like, you know, like part of you is like, you go like, I kind of get it, like, you know, it's like, in that scenario at least is like that's a like at least a cool looking world that you can like jump into and, you know, not have to deal with a real one.
I think it also helps in my situation. Whenever I'm like not doing anything that's at least semi-productive, I will start to feel like I should be doing something.
Oh, so you get the idle hands guilt.
Get the itis.
idle hand itis.
Yeah, dude, vacations suck. Personally, so it's like I'm dealing with this stupid shit when I could be like
doing something.
Yeah,
I get that. It's like. What is it? It's the 3 days. It's the 3 days rule. Your 3 days of a vacation are amazing, and then day 4 you hate your life. You know, it's like all you need is 3 days. You know, and what is it? Like actually, I call that the Vegas rule too. It's you can be in Vegas for 3 days, and they're going to be the best 3 days of your life. If you're there for day 4, you're going to hate everything.
Well,
never go to Vegas for longer than 3 days.
Well, I feel like more in that case, it's not so much that you're not productive. It's more that you look at your wallet and then, oh, fuck.
See, dude, even if it was like all expenses, I'd still be like, oh, man, like I've been going at this 3 days, man. Like I need to like go do something real with my life. I can't just live in this fake adult Disneyland, you know?
Well, I don't know. 'Cause also, at least in that case, at the same time, though, like, if I won the lottery and then go to Vegas, I could hit my 4th or 5th day and just be like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, okay. The trip after you win the lottery. But like, you know, when you go back to Vegas next year, you ain't gonna do that.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, then again, I mean, I have been getting a unprecedented break from Vegas too recently. And you are frozen. Are you listening to this show and thinking, man, I'd like to start a podcast, but I don't even know where to start? Well, Buzzsprout has the answers for you. Buzzsprout is a podcast hosting service that provides a number of valuable resources to help you on your podcasting career path. For one, Buzzsprout offers indefinite hosting of all your episodes and allows you to host as much material as you want, depending on the type of subscription that you opt for. Buzzsprout also provides a means for getting your show hosted to every major podcasting platforms such as iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, you name it. In addition, Buzzsprout also provides various means to get your show monetized through various sponsorship and affiliate programs, links to other paid hosting platforms such as Patreon and YouTube, and your own personal newsroom to learn all the tips and tricks for optimizing your podcast for the greatest return on your investment. If you're hearing all this and you're still interested, you can go to my link below and receive an Amazon gift card for starting a podcast hosting subscription that you'll receive on the second billing period of your podcast journey. Everyone has something to share, and there's no time like the present. Join Buzzsprout today. Now, and we are back after some technical difficulties.
Yes. None of which are my fault.
Actually, yes, not at all. They're all my fault.
Yes.
Which is fine.
Castigation upon you.
Also mental difficulties, because I completely forgot what we were talking about just now.
No, it's okay. I think it was time for a subject change anyway.
Yeah. Oh, let's see what else I got next. Oh, here's a small tidbit that I found interesting. Apparently, the credit score system that we currently have that dictates, your ability to buy a car or house or rent or anything like that was invented in 1989.
Not surprised. I mean, I've looked into that. There is so much about our modern financial instruments and institutions that are just complete and utter bullshit. That shouldn't exist the way they do, or they do exist and they're good, or at all, or they're abused as hell. So credit scoring, totally not surprised that wasn't invented in the 80s or 90s. Now, and here's the thing: like all things, it was probably invented as a way to actually measure something good, right? But as a numerical instrument, it probably screws over more people than it should, because it doesn't take into account those soft counting factors. Not to mention, here's an example. The fact that you're getting your credit score checked means that you're getting a ding on it. That doesn't make any sense. That just means I'm applying for something. Why would me applying for something automatically equal ding? Am I going to apply for 500 things?
What, you don't trust us, bro?
I kind of have a hard time, not going to lie, but
But no, the thing I saw about it is apparently before that, your credit score was literally based on just how you seemed the last time you went to the bank.
Your disposition?
Yeah, literally well, this guy seems like a stand-up fellow with a decent job and all that.
I mean, that sounds terrible too.
He must have a 750 or what have you.
I mean, that sounds just as bad. That sounds like the same exact problems exist for completely different reasons.
Yeah. But apparently, it would also explain, a lot of the boomer versus millennial.
Oh yeah.
Thing going on.
Because they didn't have to contend with the credit score. By the time they do, it was perfect. They were already rocking 820.
Yeah, I mean, you got some older dude living in a trailer, what? My credit score is just fine. What's wrong with you kids?
Yeah. My student loans don't exist on any electronic ledger at all. Therefore, they can't track me for missing those 5 payments I did in a row for 5 years.
Just go pay them off. You'll be fine.
Just pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Stop buying Starbucks.
Right.
Christ.
I had to pour another one.
No, understandable.
But yeah, definitely screws over more people since it's like they're actually counting now.
It just seems like a wholly bad device system either way you slice it. I don't know. I mean, it's just so misrepresentative of the facts, because the other thing too, right, is the worse your credit score is, the less eligible you are for something. But the less eligible you are for something, the less likely you're able to even get yourself out of debt. In some cases, right? Like, oh, I can't move into this apartment because my credit score is bad, but I need to move into this apartment because it's closer to the job that I just got applied for and hired for, but I can't live closer there, therefore I can't have a job, therefore I can't even move in there. Like, and that was just me making an example off the top of my head.
Yep.
Here's we're all screwed.
I don't know. I mean, I guess for better or for worse, capital riots might not be the first time we see it, or last time we see a guillotine somewhere in DC. You never know.
At the end of the day, man, I was all about. I voted guillotine DC 2021. Just let you know that right now.
There you go. Who's the VP though?
VP was Noose.
Not Axe, just in case.
Nah, Noose. At that point, if you lived, you deserved to die slowly. Why linger on?
Speaking of the more political stuff, that goes into my next note. It sounds like we're not going to be seeing anything from Ginacarano anymore.
RIP. So, I know people have opinions on both sides and this and that. All I know is what I got exposed to is she was taking a stance which people didn't like, about her conservative views, and that's fine.
Straight up.
Whatever. But then the problem is that people saw the analogy she made as being racially offensive. When I saw what she wrote, I didn't interpret it that's what she was intending.
Because it wasn't at all.
Yeah.
It's not even.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It's just. But I'm trying not to get us canceled right away. Okay. I mean, why cancel us before we even begin? Unless that's not the whole point. I mean, unless we're that.
From
jankety.
who? Yeah.
Yeah. 10 years from now, we're millionaires off of jankity ass, and they're like, I remember episode 45 when y'all motherfucker.
Yeah. You say, all right, who am I gonna fire? Myself?
Yeah. Exactly.
No.
Yeah. People will still buy the podcast.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is that Disney has proven itself to be this hypocritical engine of money, because if they're going to cancel an actress because enough bitches and whiny losers got angry at her for saying what she felt, even if what she said it was a bad way of saying it. Like, I don't like Nazi analogies because they just automatically make things way more complicated than they should be.
Yeah.
But like, what she said wasn't offensive. It wasn't. She was making it just a stupid analogy, and she got canceled for it. And quite honestly, like, you can disagree with her politics. That's fine. That's not why she's on the screen. She's not on the screen because you like her politics. She's on the screen because she's a good actress, or good enough actress, or interesting enough. Like what is it? Pedro Pascal, like he said something like almost borderline similar months before. No flack. So Disney's once again proving that they follow the crowd. They're once again proving that they don't actually believe in, female empowerment. And then finally, they still do massive amounts of business with China, who runs literal concentration camps at the moment. And the reason why the world powers, and America specifically, don't care is because it's in our financial interest to not care.
Yep.
So get fucking integrity, like, because you don't exist anymore.
Well, I will say I obviously completely agree with you, because I'm a normal smart person, but I will say this: she did do something that would normally get her fired, because
doubling down usually is not a good idea.
Yeah, because I mean, she was specifically asked, like, hey, can you please stop doing this thing? And then she did it again. It's like,
I mean,
yeah, okay.
which is why I'm like not saying like I'm not up in arms like, oh, she's a martyr and this and that. No. If you sign I worked for certain people. Those certain people require that while off the job and on the job, but even while off the job, I behave a certain way. This, what I say here, they don't care about. But like offending and like, assaulting other people, they care about that. And so that's in my terms of service with them. Same thing with everything else, right? It's like when people freaked out about like Twitter. Now, granted, Twitter also is a giant ass hypocrite in considering that they don't censor or ban half the people they should. But they also have a terms of service. Like if you part of Twitter and you get banned, then you got banned because you violated the rules. The problem is that they're hypocritical about it. If the fact that ISIS still has a Twitter account and Trump doesn't is any indication, like I think Trump should have been banned years ago, personally. Like I'm not defending Trump at all. I think he should have been banned years ago. But if ISIS is still allowed to have a Twitter account, come on, son. Like, that ain't real.
Well, I mean, he was also still the president for the most part. Unless you're talking about years
that shouldn't
and years
have been
ago.
An excuse. Regardless, it shouldn't have been an excuse because they shouldn't have been beholden to him. But here's why they did, because guess what? Him having a Twitter account probably brought on a lot of clicks.
Oh, yeah.
Brought a lot of traffic to their site. They're going to drop 85 million followers because he said something nasty enough to the point where it technically violated their ban. No. Are they going to do it right when his presidency is ending to make themselves look like the good guy? Bet your ass they will.
Just like always.
Just like always.
And I have heard that apparently their verification system is mostly bullshit too.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, because it's all just whatchamacallit, like news or publications people that aren't shit beyond that. Yeah.
It's probably also based off an algorithm that like doesn't wholly account for everything, but it does for the most part. I could see that. I mean, I've done zero research into this, so I could be talking completely out of my ass. I am currently, so who knows?
Well, I mean, because for the way I've heard it explained too is like in a lot of cases it's like if somebody wants to run like some sort of promotion or publication like with Twitter, they could say like, hey, instead of paying like this much, we'll verify like everybody in your whole company or whatever type of thing. So like kind of like a bargaining chip.
And then, see that.
Yeah, and then you got a bunch of fucking dorks saying stupid shit. But no, getting back to the Carano thing, but yeah, like what she said most recently. Yeah, it was doubling down because like you saw like the first thing that she got flack over, right?
It happened like what was it, like 6 or 8 months ago or something like that.
I think so. Yeah,
it was like a little longer ago, and basically she was expressing her opinion about, I think it was about sports and trans people in sports.
No, it was no. She made a joke about people who like put the fucking pronouns in their name.
Oh right, yeah.
About like how ridiculous it is.
And the thing of it is that like, and while you can talk about people doing what they need to do for themselves, and like, hey, this is America. If you believe you are who you are and you make that choice to follow that path, sure, that's great, and I'm happy that you live in a country that allows you to do that. But expecting an entire country and culture to change how its language strata and schema works doesn't follow, because you're going against generations of you're introducing something that's not countercultural, so therefore it's like good. You're introducing something that's like diametrically opposed to inherently built logic. It would be like It's like me going to you and you're the head of transportation of the United States, and I'm like, I'm gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna make us progressive, and you're like, sure, okay. And I'm like, there's no such thing as roads. And you're like, okay, cool. What else you got? And I'll be like, whatever you want as the driver, man. And it's like, no, because or else it doesn't nothing. No, nothing. And that analogy actually carries farther than you think if you follow it through a little bit, right? It's like because it becomes this systemic idea of, by having any identity posted that you determine, right, as opposed to a duality identity, even if you were allowed to fluidly choose between the two, by having any identity that you want be your nomenclature, you're effectively destroying identity, just inherently, like, completely. Because by making, like, it's the idea that everyone's special, therefore no one is. Right? Like, you have to have a limitation on it. And I don't care if that limitation is 2, 4, 6, or 8, but it has to be a limitation. And the argument that it could be any number of things, or this allowance for scalability, just is complete bullshit. It's people who have been given, like, yeah, you know what, you made a progressive step, here you go. And then they're taking that, and they're not even running to the bank, they're running past the bank, and they're running off the cliff, and they're thinking they're going to Olympus when they're actually, like, running straight into Tartarus, man. Like,
Yep.
just going straight down. But they feel the momentum, so that's all they're riding off of. And they're actually acting in opposition of their own like, civil rights, right? Like, they're trying to create this whole civil rights movement, and in the end, they're setting themselves up for a pitfall, which could actually set them back under the wrong government.
Among other things, yes.
Among other things.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I would just say, if she is guilty of anything, it's, well, obviously being insensitive. But
Insensitive,
I mean,
sure.
Yeah, that's just anybody who's straightforward.
Or
and
just not being prudent enough to honor your contract, unless she doesn't care about it anymore.
Well, that was the second thing. But no, apparently
and
now,
you know, if she believes in it so much that she is acting against it to say what she believes, then so be it. Even if what she believes you don't think is the right thing, at least she's following her conscience. How many people can say that today? And again, she's not following her conscience. Like, I believe my conscience is killing people. Like, she's not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not saying she's a malformed conscience.
Fortunately. But no, apparently,
Yeah, as far as I know.
yeah, apparently now she's doing a movie with Ben Shapiro.
That did make me be like,
who's a full-on Jewish follower.
That guy.
So anti-Semitic. Come on. Yeah, but it sounds like it's going to be more of like a documentary. Probably.
I think she's, if anything, she probably told a news outlet, oh yeah, he's doing this thing about cancel culture, and I said I'd be on it. And then the news reported she's doing a movie with, you know.
Well, apparently she's going to direct and star in this thing, so.
Well, if she's going to direct,
that'll be a bit of a leap. It's like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing a movie. Oh, she's fucking directing it, starring it, paying for it. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know anything about it, so there you go. You're back.
My fucking connection switched again.
There you go. I can see you again.
Yeah, every once in a while it goes from my extender back to my original connection. I'm not entirely sure why. Let me see if I can.
I think you could probably lock it if you go to your Wi-Fi settings, but I would play around that after. That's a whole beast of an experiment.
It's all right. I'm sure we'll have a full-on cut again at some point. But let's see, what else do I have on the docket? Oh yeah, there's gonna be a new Batman video game coming out pretty soon. That one looks cool. I think you just went again. Fuck. God damn it. Oh, there it is. For fuck's sake. Hey, fun with Zoom. I didn't even stop recording that time. Whoops.
We'll get it in post.
So the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, new Batman video games coming out, so I'm definitely gonna have to
Which one?
grab that. This one's gonna be Arkham Knights now.
Ooh. Wait,
And-
Knights plural.
And you don't play as Batman at all.
What? So like Dick Grayson?
So it's so there's four characters that you can play from. It's gonna be Nightwing, Red Robin, Batgirl, and
Huntress?
no. Red Hood.
Damn, that's like so. Like, are they all their own like campaigns, or is it like the same campaign with a little bit of a flavor twist for each?
I have no idea. all I know is that
I mean, it's a new Arkham game. That's to be quite honest, actually, the Arkham games are one of the few games I've not played through in any entirety. I know they're incredible. I watched my friend play through most of the first one in college, but it's just one of those things that I just know I missed the boat on.
I did play through the last one, which was fuck. I don't remember. 'Cause I know it was because Arkham Asylum was the first one, and then Arkham City, which I played a little bit of it. I tried.
Arkham City's what like blew it off the map too. Arkham City was supposed to be really good.
It was pretty decent, but I played what was I gonna say? I tried playing through that like the PSN rental system, and like it just kept cutting out on me. Yeah, so I was like, fuck this. And then there was another one, which is kind of like a Year Zero Arkham that was made by a different company.
I do remember that. I don't remember what it's called, but I do remember the whole Redux. It was like a redo kind of a thing.
Yeah, Arkham Origins.
That's it.
Was a prequel, and then there was. Oh yeah, and then Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight was the most recent one.
Yeah, the one that they came out with when the PS4 came out.
Yes, that's right.
Originally, and that was the one where the main thing was that in that one was the Scarecrow kind of like started pulling the strings and getting like all the other villains to do stuff, and then eventually like fear bombed the whole city, and you had to deal with that. And there was a whole thing where that was also where you found the Red Hood, and kind of you kicked his ass first, and then got him back into.
Got him back in the fold, which is like how the comic works anyway. Hey, stop being a jackass. Sorry you had daddy issues.
Yeah. It was me. What do you want?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I guess this one kind of follows after that. So it looks fun. And it'll be it'll be a race to see if I can actually finish off Fallout 4.
Hey, you can't. Nothing saying you can't multitask.
I've taken a little bit of a break because I've also been working on the whatchamacallit. Silent
King.
This shit.
Oh, this the Necrons, yeah, for sure.
That too, but no, I've done up 3. I did up these guys, the Lord, and the Hexmark.
Oh, nice.
Already, so those are ready to kind of throw in.
Yeah.
And then I got a couple more, and then I also have to finish up the Mask of Slaanesh is going to be the third one after next week.
Nice.
So at least I'm kind of caught up there, or ahead of schedule. But let's see. One last major note that I have is my home state, South Dakota, almost legalized weed.
What? How do they almost
Almost.
They just didn't pass the general state ledger or something, or?
So apparently, in like the public election for this measure, it passed. Like everybody voted for it, and then I don't know where this came from, but well first of all, our state governor Kristi Noem is GOP, like through and through.
I thought she was libertarian.
No.
Oh, so she's an idiot. She's an idiot when it comes to like progressive shit.
There you go. But no,
Yeah.
so apparently, like everything I've seen about this, it just says it was voted for and elected, and then a
single
just
judge.
yeah shut it down. I don't know what judge or where.
Despite the
guessing,
fact that every other state in the country just really validated saying it was chill.
Well, almost every other state.
Almost every other state.
Yeah,
Almost.
there's
Enough to the point where it's like now you're on the losing side.
But yeah, they So yeah, that was and since then, she apparently came out and saying like we did some more research about this, about like how other states, and apparently now they're gonna like start some 2 to 4 year plan to like go through like the medical route and then eventually recreational. But this of course only came after everybody started being like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
I voted for it, and also too because it was kind of hypocritical because South Dakota was one of the states that didn't do any sort of lockdown shit.
Yeah, exactly.
At all, and her exact quote was like, we don't want to enter into a situation where the big government dictates how you live your lives, and then it's like, okay, well, we voted for this measure so that we can enjoy and sell weed, and then here y'all come in and just tanked it in one shot. So what is it?
Yeah, exactly. Pick one. You can't have both. It's ridiculous. Not to mention which, I mean, they could just slap a state tax on that. That's just called free income, man.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a burgeoning new industry that's worth, something of billions of dollars, and I can have a pie share of that and tax it and bring it in for my income. Dude, just do it. Like that's why it blew my mind that like it took so long for the government to even legalize it until now, right? And guess what? Like in the next 20 years, you're gonna have opiates follow. Would finally be like when there's more education about it, people learn how to use them respectfully, and companies actually make opiates that actually are designed to let the user get the high without killing them. Of course, unless the user's stupid and takes 5,
Oh well, yeah, but how's that different from, beer?
It's the same concept. And we're back.
Yeah. I already hit record again.
Just in time to wrap it up.
Maybe not. But yeah, so our legalization struggles continue in South Dakota. I guess we could squeeze in some articles.
I got time for one or two.
One or two. Oh shit. You and your time.
Hey man, I'm a busy man.
Busy trying to get to sleep. Is that what that is?
Hey, no, I may not fall asleep till 1 a.m. It's more about I got every hour planned of every day of my life. That's what happens when you get married and have kids.
Shit. All right. Well, I guess first one I got here. Dominion Voting sues Rudy Giuliani for $1.3 billion.
Not
over
surprised.
Conspiracy.
Not surprised at all.
That is a hefty amount.
And probably, you know what? They picked that number probably knowing he could pay it and it would kill him. Like, oh yeah, he can afford this, but he's got nothing else after this.
Like, just barely. Dude, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like he's I'm not like the kind of person to just sort of like fly off the handle and go to like the worst like the worst possible situation, like whenever somebody else fucks up with something. But I feel like he would definitely be like the kind of person where you would just meet him and just be like, what happened? Like, what the fuck happened?
I can see that. I can dig it.
Like, I don't think I could be in a situation where I was sued for over $1 billion if I tried.
Yeah, it'd be pretty hard for me to piss anybody off that much.
Yeah. Well, and Trump's probably right behind him.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Fake news. You're fired.
Well, apparently him getting impeached again was fake news. I'm sure you saw that by now.
Yep. Gotta love America.
It would be interesting to see if he actually gets like the people who kind of have some big debts over him, if they'll actually follow through with that now, since he didn't
probably
get impeached
actually
again.
It would probably be better for them if he didn't get impeached, because probably as an impeached person, that's like, I could see there being some kind of like financial, if the people who want their money, they're gonna get it at the right time. If that meant he was getting impeached, they would have made him get impeached. But if it didn't serve their purposes for him to be impeached, they don't care. Because money's what rules the world, man. It's what drives everything. At least our government, anyway.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to make some money one of these days here too. But and speaking of big government, next one is Biden orders all government vehicles. Biden orders government to make all federal vehicles electric.
As someone who is saying something out loud that is awful, terrible, and I hate it, as somebody who wants to invest in electric green energy, that's awesome. Don't tell anybody.
Well, and also the interesting thing here too is most people don't seem to understand where electricity generally comes from.
Yeah. This thing called batteries?
Well, gas-powered generators.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're going to tell me that, like, all the electrical power plants have, like, a bunch of fucking, I don't know, kids or foreigners just running in a giant wheel. Like, this shit mostly comes from gas.
Yeah. Sorry, honey. The Gerbil wheel of immigrants isn't running right now, so gotta get the hand crank out.
Yeah. And well, plus too, I think I remember seeing like even like the entirety of personal consumption of gasoline is still just like a fraction of what major plants and refineries use across the U.S. Or well, I guess maybe that might be more of a global statistic, because obviously we don't have as many.
Honestly, I am actually not sure. I would imagine that anybody who's facilitating a green energy solution would also facilitate or advocate for the source of said energy to be green, not just the consumers of the energy. But even if you were to argue even if you were to say everything in terms of how we produce fuel stays the same, but then how we burn the fuel becomes green, that's still a step up. That's still a huge step up, if you think about it. Because, then you're literally cutting off all of consumer exhaust. Nothing to sneeze at. Not to say that I know that's how it works. I'm just thinking kind of intuitively, it's either one or the other. Either the green source of energy is clean and produces clean and is consumed clean, or it produces dirty, but at least it's consumed clean. And hey, that's half the equation we haven't had before. Before, the industrial revolution of the 1900s.
Which would be nice, but that's probably not how it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's probably like, oh, the way we make solar energy work is with the blood of children. And it's like, oh my
right.
God.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. It's more just like, the green movement involves people using like electric stuff instead of gas.
Right, but where do you get the electricity to come from? And that's and if you can trace
gas,
it back.
yeah.
Well, but my argument is, even if it's gas, at least you're using the electric, thing that used to be gas. That's better than nothing. I don't know.
It's all bullshit, just like everything else.
I mean, we're all gonna die, so who cares?
And those vehicles cost more too. So.
Well, that's because it's new tech. Eventually, it's gonna flop side, and then it's gonna be cheaper than gas. And gas cars, gas guzzlers will actually be a luxury car. Mark my words. Gas guzzlers will be a luxury car in the future.
Hopefully.
The same way that flintlocks are.
Well, what, you mean like the rifle?
Yeah, like it's an antique. Old tech. Old tech has a high spike in value as it leaves the building.
Yeah, true. It'd be like the new vinyl.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess. Well, let's see. I guess we could squeeze in one more. This one's kind of interesting.
Sure.
A little older. Democrats introduced bill to make Washington, D.C. the 51st state.
That's purely for voting purposes.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's yeah, let's see. While the Democratic-controlled House could pass the bill again. Apparently, this isn't the first time they tried doing this.
I would be surprised. Yeah.
Chances of clearing the Senate are nil.
Dude, we should make Puerto Rico a state before we should make D.C. a state. I mean, come on now. Any of the U.S. territories that don't get any of the benefits of being part of the U.S., come on. Come on.
There is that. But I'm sure that's the last thing anybody thought of.
Oh, yeah, because that would make sense and actually be, like, morally upholding,
Well, what is interesting, too, is I don't remember who I was talking about this, but I remember I kind of had the idea, like, I'm surprised that there hasn't been the idea to kind of make larger metropolitan cities, like LA or New York or something like that, into something like a city-state, since they always seem to be completely different from, well, just different from the rest of the state.
That's actually an interesting idea. Like, what if it was like the LA city-state and then California?
Yeah. I don't know if that would be better or worse in the long run, or probably just the same. Most likely.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll think about that. I'll think about that. But I think that's something we could talk about next time, maybe. That's kind of a deep question. I want to think about that more.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, off the top of my head, I can't give you anything off the cuff. All right.
Oh, fuck it. That's there you go. That's been another episode of the Jankity Ass Podcast, number 45, here on YouTube on Multi-Murdy Media, or if you're listening, we're on we're on every major platform now, and a few others in between. So that's your
several known to monkeys.
Maybe. I mean, well, that's racist. No. But yeah, so that's your iTunes, your Pandora, your Spotify.
Quoting Fairly Odd Parents, but sure.
Some other ones. And then also, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, you get this playlist again. You'll get the Gutsy Ass Gamer. That's your video games and Twitch, or mine actually.
Mm-hmm.
Ponch's Paint Booth for all your hobby needs, or at least what I deem are your hobby needs.
You have no other hobby needs.
Yeah, right. Most people don't have hobby needs, or at least they don't realize that they need them.
True.
But,
you do need it.
And then, of course, find Multi-Murdy Media on Instagram and Facebook. Get all of the updates for shows as they come out, or at least within a day or two. And Tom, you can find here, and as well as on
TFG Radio, where I join the LVO hosts or judges and talk about 40K and whatever else is on our mind at the time.
Those are your other hobby needs, as
Yes.
dictated by us.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good enough for now.
Good
so
enough
remember,
for now.
drink up, smoke up, whatever you need to do. And unless of course you're in my home state of South Dakota, then maybe don't smoke up. Just chill out for a second.
Yeah, or don't post that you're smoking up.
Yeah, right. And we will see you guys next week.
Live long and prosper, bitches.